Epidemic 2020. How's it going, man? Long time no talk. I haven't logged on in a very long time, and it really didn't expect to find a whole lot of activity. So it was a nice surprise to find you giving me props, giving me a shout out on the Izot argument, and I got more than a couple of subscriptions out of it. So I really appreciate that, man. Um, I plan on sort of reorienting myself, re-educating myself, catching up with the argument and the disagreement you're having with theoretical bullshit. Um, I'm not quite sure where I fall because I haven't watched his videos on the topic yet. So um, I watched your video once through. Uh, it sounded really good. Once again, your methodology and your technique is just top rate. Uh, I think at most I would have just a little quibble. I'm somewhat familiar with Michael Humner. I really enjoyed reading about his. I really enjoy reading his explanation of the economic theory of value, marginal utility, which is the current sort of reigning orthodoxy. I also understand he's a direct realist, which I appreciate. That's in the philosophy of perception. Um, in terms of self-evident moral truths, he defends what I think can safely be called ethical intuitionism, moral intuitionism. As a matter of fact, he has a book, I think, by that title. And I also subscribe to that philosophy. I'm not so sure exactly where I fit, and I think there's some diversity even within that meta-ethical worldview. For one thing, I think there's a lot of affinity between moral skeptics and moral intuitionists, because moral intuitionists and moral skeptics seem to agree that there's no positive argument you can give on behalf of morality that would persuade someone who doesn't already share some moral premises. And by that, I don't just mean, say, a moral skeptic. Moral skeptics often say, hey, we're moral as well. And I'm sure in terms of their lifestyle, many of them are. Um, but they don't actually, in their heart of hearts, believe that there are any such things as moral facts. And so I don't believe you can persuade anyone who holds that view just on argument. The best we can do is to come up with maybe prestigious partners in crime. For example, the problem of induction, speaking of David Hume. Um, what I mean is, the best we can do perhaps is just to show where intuition is at play in beliefs that we have, fundamental beliefs we have about the world. And so a worldview can't be wrong simply because it's justified by intuition. Of course, that doesn't make it right. And so the quibble that I announced earlier is simply in the phraseology of like solving the Izot problem. Um, of course, the premise is that of this problem, of the Izot problem, I feel like I'm saying the word is quite a bit, but um, there are only descriptive facts in our hypothetical. Now, how do we derive normative ones? Okay, so if Michael Humner wants to say, well, I have moral premises established through intuition, they're self-evident. Well, okay, that I suppose that solves the is-ought problem insofar as it changes the premises. And of course, the problem asks us, actually, though, to not include normative premises. So it's my view that when we adhere to the sort of rules implicit in the hypothetical of the is-ought problem, it's in fact unsolvable. Um, that's a really minor quibble. And again, it was great to see you. Keep up the good work. And whether we agree or not, which it sounds like we're a lot closer than we've ever been, I'm sure it'll always remain very civil and collegial. So thanks again, man. I'll be in touch.